Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Sidequest Gaming, where we take a look at games both old and new to try and uncover some of those little hidden gems you might want to give a crack for yourself and add to your wish list. Today we're looking at a title named Above Snakes, which is a little title by a little developer named Square Glade, and it's really quite an interesting take on kind of a survival builder. So we're going to play it for about half an hour today. As always, at the end I'm going to give a bit of a recap of my thoughts, my feelings, and what my experience with the game's been so far. I have previously done about one playthrough of this game, but that was a little while ago. You can see here, two playthroughs. It was a while ago, so we're going to start a new journey and see how we go. There are two modes here, which is the adventure mode and exploration mode. Exploration mode kind of lets you do whatever you want, whereas the adventure mode is the standard play. So we're going to give that one a go for this.
The conflict between the settlers and the first people was at its peak. The drums of war echoed across the land like a never-ending thunder. While war raged on, a love blossomed from the fields of hate. And from that love, a child was born. Ayana, who had eventually grown into her own, chose to travel the lands and learn for herself the histories of her lineage. With a heavy heart, her mother stayed behind in a town called Corpse Creek. On one fateful evening in Corpse Creek, the midnight skies were interrupted by a light of brilliant green. The awe of such an event quickly dissolved into horror as a flurry of stones of flame descended upon the town. Most folks fell victim to the debris and smoke that consumed the land, though the survivors quickly discovered that the bodies did not remain still for long. That night, Ayana had stayed in a lumberjack settlement far away from her beloved mother.
Go figure that zombies would come out of Corpse Creek. Let's go. So this is a game that's very optimized for controller. You can also play it keyboard and mouse, obviously. It is a good game to play with controller. I'm playing on keyboard and mouse for this particular playthrough. So, okay, tab to open your backpack. Yep, cool. Here's our backpack. We're going to check out this crate, and we're going to take a book and a coin. Inspect the bed. It was really cramped in here with everyone sleeping in this one room last night. Okay, cool. Warm hands. Hands are warm. Good to know. Anything else in here? We can inspect the bed. At least it's warm and dry in here. This is perhaps the only place now in Hunter's Rest where that is the case. Open the door. Alright. I love the artwork. It's a really cool looking game. Really cool looking game. So Q and E to rotate camera for different angles. Cool. Move around. Got this Joanne over here. Oh my. Sniffles and weeps. What are we to do? The horror that came over us. Ask if she's okay or ask how we can help. Let's check on her first. I know, but first things first. Are you okay? I'm not hurt, so I guess I'm okay. It's just... Her voice cracks. My house, my beautiful house, it's in shambles. And the whole town, oh, look at me, bawling my eyes out about my house while all those people lost their lives. This whole thing is such a mess. Ask if there's any way you can help. Is there anything I can do to help? Wipes tears from her eyes. Actually, yes, the whole town is in ruins, so we can use all the help we can get. We would need logs to rebuild, even though we have the sawmill just over there. I doubt whether we have enough logs to rebuild these houses. What did you see last night? The whole house shook last night. Did you go outside and see anything? When I felt the rumble, I jumped out of bed and ran outside. I saw the skies crack open and suddenly these black and green stones came hailing down. That's when I ran outside to where you stayed trying to find shelter. Ask if she has an axe. To get some logs, I need to chop some trees with an axe. Do you have an axe I can borrow? I've been searching for my axe, but I can't find it among the ruins. I do have this flint though. If you tie it to a strong branch, perhaps you can craft yourself a primitive axe. I also have these hard antlers for you, as you do, just in your pocket. They might be useful. There should be plenty of materials around that here to craft some primitive tools. Okay. Gather branches from pine trees, open your backpack, and craft a primitive axe. Alright, let's do it. Search the pine tree. Getting some branches. Feathers. Alright, we've searched everything there. Let's have a look in our inventory. We're going to go to the crafting tab and we're going to craft a hand axe. Typical for a lot of these kind of survival games to start off with. Back to our inventory and let's equip it and assign it to 1. Cool. We now have an axe and we're going to chop a tree to get some lumber. Let's go this one. Increased our axe skill 3 already. There we go, leveling up. Gotta love that. Alright, dropped it all down and we've got some lumber. Gathering rocks. Craft a primitive pickaxe, gather rocks. Let's do that. Crafting pickaxe, that's our antler right there. Let's craft it. Done. Back to our inventory. Let's put it on number 2 and let's equip that. Pickaxes increased. Typical start of a kind of little survival game where we get a bunch of resources. Got a new blueprint for Flint. Now let's head back over here and see what she's got to say. Joanne, what do we got to say, Joanne? Alright, time to get started, wouldn't you say? The sawmill was only set up to saw lumber, plus it's unusable in its current state anyway, so we'll have to build a log cabin instead of a plank one. But first, oh my, how can I forget? Before we can build a new house, we need to take down the old one. My mind is really mush these days. If you can craft a hammer, you can use it to tear down my old ruined house to free up some space, and later you can adjust the house if you need to. Alright, let's make a hammer. Back to crafting over here. So we need 2 more plant fibers. Let's go search one of these trees over here. Well, actually, it's probably, come to think of it, we probably want, I think this is more the plant fiber, so I don't think my, yeah, cool. Let's grab our little axe out and cut this bush up. There we go, plant fibers. Perfect. And build us a hammer. And let's equip. And yep, it's already auto hotkey to level 3. Okay, adjusting structures with the hammer. We can use it to, yep, change existing structures. So let's get 3 out. This is our build mode. You can see. And how can we, which cabin are we going to pull down? I'm assuming it's this busted one up here. Yep. Take down. There we go. And we can get out of that. Alright, we need a workbench. Let's get out our hammer again. And how do we build a workbench? Craft a workbench. Oh, we have to craft it first, don't we? Let's build a workbench over here. We've got enough for it. Alright, we have a workbench. And now if we get out 4, we can put it wherever we want. Let's put it facing this way. Perfect. Alright, use F to interact with the workbench. Craft at least 4 foundations of the workbench. Build a new home with walls and roof. Okay. This is our workbench. We can get some foundations and some walls, but we're going to need supplies for that. So we're going to have to cut a few trees down. So we've got our axe out. Let's start on whacking. Okay. Like the little spin we had there. Now, in a minute I might see whether I can grab that big log pile. That seems like it's ripe and ready to go already, doesn't it? Can sprint. Oh, F to pick up. Yes, I'll just pick up all these logs there. Okay, so we're getting one at a time from there, but that's quite a bit faster. Can I get through that? No, can't damage that either. But I'm imagining that we'll be able to get that log pile right next to the house as well. So we'll do that in a sec. Yep, there we go. Grab a few more logs, because we have to build a whole house going here, so we're going to need a little bit. There we go. Got some resources. Is this going to be enough? Alright, we needed 4 foundations, didn't we? Let's go 1, 2. Now we can craft multiple. I have not done that, but there we go. We need a few walls, so I'm scrolling up there to make... Let's make 8 walls. We'll be out of lumber again, but we can now start putting some of these down. So let's go. Foundation. Okay, yep. So better shelter, more bonuses it provides. There we go. And let's go with some walls. Probably need a door or something in there too. And definitely a roof, so let's get out of that and let's get some more trees. A bit more resources. Axe is level 8. Nice. Moving on up in the world. Really, I would like to make a much bigger house than what I have here, but for the sake of our first little hut, let's just stick with a tiny little thing. We can always add to it later. Okay. Oh, I think my shelter is... No, that's just saying it's not complete. Looks like it's getting damaged by the rain. What's happening there? No, okay. Cool. Got some more resources. Workbench. We need a... I can't see a door, hey. Do we want a slanty roof or a flat roof? Let's go slanty roof. Probably want 4 of those. We don't have enough, we can get 3. But we need another plant fiber for a 4th one. So, is there, yep, little bush down here. Nice, okay. Let's make our 4th one so we can roof this up properly. One more. Okay. Let's put on some roofs. Let's have it that way. Rotate it around. Boom! Look at our house. Nice. Joanne, what do you think? Wow, look at that home. Great work. Yeah, nice. There's something else immediately that requires our attention, though. I just realised that the person over there is still breathing. We built a whole house and the poor guy's like lying there dying. He inhaled some smoke of the meteorites last night and fainted. Later some debris have wounded him. When I found him this morning, I checked on him and was certain that he was not breathing anymore. But maybe there's still hope for him. Do you know what to do? I've never provided medical care. Bandages should help to stop the bleeding. Maybe there's some left in the clutter of the old sawmill. Alright. Find a bandage, help the wounded person. Down we go. Let's check out the... Yep, we can sprint. We know that. That's cool. Let's open the door. What's in the sawmill? Search self. Take some books. Hey there, did you sleep? I didn't sleep well, everything was on fire. I couldn't stop turning either. Green flashes before my eyes. And that horrible rumbling in the sky. And have you seen this place? It's ruined. It used to be so cozy in here with everyone. Okay, you seem pretty unperturbed given what's going on, but all good, mate. Pick up, what was that? An old candle holder, tin can, horseshoe, oil lantern, cards, book, bandage. There we go. What would you know? There we go. So let's heal the wounded person. Use 1 bandage. Bleeding from the face there pretty profusely. Oh no! He turned into one of those things. Be careful, they're extremely aggressive. Okay, press space to perform a dodge roll, and let's... Whoa. Bit of a whack there. Alright, zombie killing, done. Bandage to only kill. Let's loot him. What do you got on there? Bones and a new blueprint for a bone axe. Alright, that poor guy. I think people who inhaled the smoke of the meteorites are turning into those monstrosities. It's so horrible. You look pale, are you okay? Oh, it's a bit worrying. Could be better. There are times I felt better, to be honest. I can imagine. Maybe you should get something to eat. We should have some food around. The surroundings of Hunter's Rest have always had berry bushes plenty as well. Why don't you use this map and search for some berries to snack? Hands over a map. Okay. Now, this is where we get into the really cool and unique mechanic of Above Snakes. All you've seen so far is pretty stock standard for kind of a survival buildy zombie game, which all really well put together and enjoyable, don't get me wrong. But this is where this game both shines and is very different to other titles, in that we actually unlock different puzzle pieces and we create the world ourselves. So we go into the map, we get this kind of grid-based system where we decide which way we want to expand out, and we place down particular puzzle pieces that then represent the next version of the world. So we wind up creating our entirely own unique sort of playmat that we then explore. So we place around resources that we want to be able to access. We place down all kinds of other things, like which is a really interesting mechanic that I haven't seen done before and I really enjoy. This bit down here is representing the scouting that just popped up before. The more we explore new tiles, the more we unlock more tiles and can spend those points to then be able to place more around the map and kind of build the world that we inhabit. And there's things like special encounter tiles that we can place in particular locations to give us access to like towns or special events or traders and resources, which is really quite cool. So don't starve, eat some berries. Cool, let's eat some berries. Berries have been, oh, that became daytime. Eating some berries, our little meters down here that we have to manage, our sleep, our sanity, food, hunger and thirst. We are now returning to Joanne. Joanne is gone. She's left us a letter. I am deeply sorry. I had to leave all of a sudden. The frontier sent a carriage to pick up survivors. The least I can do is leave the cabin to you. You built it, after all. They said the plague has been spreading from Corpse Creek. They reported meteorites falling down there too. Horrible. Some people survived, but most of them fled. If you can talk to them, maybe that will bring some light into the dark. Sincerely, Joanne. Alright, thanks, Joanne. There must be some people who survived the plague in Corpse Creek. I've heard that there is a camp nearby. To get more information about what happened, I need to see if there are any survivors. Find the camp. So, take down the sawmill, take down the small house. They're our next missions. I'm pretty sure there's I don't want to build another thing yet. I'm pretty sure, isn't there a dude in this house? There wasn't there? Oh well, I guess we just take down your mill, mate. Bad luck. You're gone too. And we'll take down the old log cabin. Even though I would probably keep that one because it's pretty cool. Don't know how Joanne's going to feel when, she gets back and we've destroyed her house. But it is what it is. Build a cartography table and use it to research a new world piece. Alright, so over here we've got, where is our cartography table? I think we need to upgrade the... Oh wait, there it is. We need ink. Where can we get ink from? Can we build ink? We cannot build ink. So, don't think we're going to be able to do that just yet. I think we're going to need to probably place down a few more world pieces when we can, which may get us the ability to make some ink, maybe. Let's get some huckleberries, just collect food as we go. We might as well get some more wood while we're here. Well, bees. That's no good. How's my health going? Where were the bees? Ah, there they are. Okay, knock the bees down. Got some beeswax now. I think I saw something that needed beeswax just before. What was it? Got our map. It wasn't the workbench. Let's go down here. We are a bit injured, which isn't great, and we're getting a bit tired. Ink. Oh, we can make some ink. Right, let's make a bit of ink. And let's make a cartography table. Done. Alright, our cartography table, let's put it right down here in the center, just for the hell of it. It's down here in the center of our place. And we can now research more world pieces. So we can now, if we get some rocks, we can spend that to research a plains pine forest style. So it kind of merges into the next one. So let's see. Let's get some stone going. Alright, here we go. Rocks collected. Let's research a plains pine forest style. Done. Now, talking about biomes, how we need to actually connect them. So you can't just kind of bang a completely different biome. Like, I cannot place it. See how it shows up red if I try to make a forest right against the plains? So we need to connect them in ways that work. So I can do this, for example. And this now starts to allow us to explore some pine tree biome. And we can then research the actual pine biome as a type. And in the forest we can get mushrooms and things like that. So you see how this kind of comes together to create this big kind of patchwork quilt of the map that we build as we go. Let's just kind of see what's required for that next tile. We are getting very tired. We need more rocks. Okay, well, fortunately we have another pile of rocks over here. Okay, pickaxes is 5. And it's wanting us to find the survivors camp, which means we need to keep exploring new tiles. Go get a pine forest. Done. Do we have enough pieces to put down a pine forest? We do not just yet. So I need to get that up to its next level, which just means we need to keep collecting things from the various biomes. See how that's going up with each new kind of thing that I'm doing. Let's grab some of this pine wood, I think. Thirst is going up. Hunger's going to be an issue. Almost there for the next piece. Okay, here we go. New world piece. Nice. Boom. Pine forest. Done. Here we go. And so as that happens, we unlock new blueprints. We unlock new things. There's some deer and things here. Can I get him? Yes. Nice. Got the deer. Skin and gut. Let's do it. So got some meat. Got some hard antlers. Got some hide. Nice. And so as we get more resources, we can start to unlock new tiles, and we can start to move up the tech tree in that standard kind of way of upgrading the workbench. You know, then getting more robust axes or pickaxes that allow us to then get metals or various materials to unlock different weapon types. And as we start to expand our tile sets, we come across bigger and bigger dangers. We start to come across more zombies, things like that, that require us to be able to have, look after ourselves, have appropriate weapons and armor and things like that to be able to survive that particular area. Let's just see if we can get to this survivors camp, shall we? I think I need another. And we actually need the tile to go up anyway, so should in a minute. Yep, there we go. Got a new world piece. We're going to research the survivors camp. Boom. There we go. Survivors camp has been researched. Let's place it down. This is one of those custom tiles I was talking about. Let's put it right next to us for ease of access. Had no idea it was there. There we go. And here we can see, yep, it wants us to rest because we're very tired. We can do that shortly. Well, what can we pick up? Pick up canned beans. Good day, stranger. How did you find us out here in this nirvana? Me and my brother Greg have been out here for days and we can't get home. Ask what happened. What happened to you? Well, we used to live in Corpse Creek before the Night of the Flames. During our escape, we lost most of our provisions. Tell me more about Corpse Creek. Corpse Creek is a big town and it once used to be the heart of our country. Lots of people used to live there before the night. Since those horrible things happened, Corpse Creek is almost abandoned. We used to live there before everything changed. How did you lose your provisions? We lost most of our things in the nearby prairie when our wagon was toppled in an attack by, well, let's say one of our own. By whom did you get attacked? Well, let's not talk about that for now. It was not an easy moment for us. We are lucky to be alive still. This fire and a handful of provisions are all we have that stand between us and the grave. Maybe it's too much to ask, but we are afraid of going back there. Do you think you can get our provisions back? Yeah, sure, why not? All right, I can help you by getting back your provisions. Thank you so much. We'll be waiting here for your return. There we go. So, this is Above Snakes. Very interesting little title. Very graphically, very well put together. The animations are good. The gameplay mechanics themselves feel quite responsive, and I love the map building. I really love this like tiled building process of researching and putting down different tiles to make pathways. One thing to note that's worth knowing in advance, because it may affect the way that you play this game if you choose to pick it up, is that when I first started this game, I thought there would be kind of a need to protect my base, that as tiles were put together, zombies would start coming over, or there'd be kind of like a wave defense sort of situation. That is not in this game. I actually think it would be really cool to be in this game, but this game is a far more peaceful, there is a lot of combat, but it's a far more chilled out experience in that respect. You do not have to worry about your base. You can kind of build it to whatever's aesthetically pleasing to you and however you want it to feel and look. And that does factor in from a perspective of create the pathways you create to get to new areas. So for example, my first playthrough, thinking that was the case, I kind of kept moving out in one direction to try and make it so I had a more defensible sort of line. But how that resulted for me is that I had to then run very long distances to get to certain resources, and that wasn't the best way for me to play. It was better to be more strategic and make things more accessible to your main base so that I wasn't spending as much time in transit, but that was just for me. All in all, it's a very neat little title, very fun. As I said, art style is fantastic, sound fidelity is good, really interesting little special quests and things like that you can pick up, but just quite an enjoyable little experience. Definitely worth keeping an eye on if this kind of survival crafting builder experience is your jam. This has been Sidequest Gaming. This is Above Snakes. Highly recommend having a look. Add it to your wish list, give it a shot. As always, have an amazing day. Please like, subscribe, all that stuff makes a big difference to me and I really appreciate it. Catch you in the next one. Bye.